Hello friends, welcome to Insights ICANN Initiative. In today's video, we are going to discuss about BrahMos Missile technology and the India delivers this BrahMos Missile technology to Philippines. So this is the title of this video. In this video, we mainly going to discuss about following topics. That means these are the learning objectives. They are first, why it is in news. Here we are going to discuss about context, and then India's defense export in general and various reports regarding the India's defense export, like how much we are exporting and to which countries we are exporting, the details. And here we will examine the CPRI report as well. Then the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, that is CPRI, government initiatives we will discuss, various government initiatives and how government is trying to improve India's defense production within India so that we can reduce our dependence on other countries. BrahMos missile details, like features of the BrahMos missile and various versions of the BrahMos missile, and how the BrahMos missile range increased after India joined in the MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime. Those details we will discuss, and finally we will conclude this with the way forward. So these are the learning objectives. Now let's see syllabus mapping. This particular thing is related to General Studies paper 3 actually. Here I forgot to update this one, General Studies paper 3, Internal Security and Defense. Now first we try to understand the context, why it is in news. India is all set to deliver the first set of BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. Here keywords are two. The first keyword is supersonic. This indicates the speed of the missile, and cruise missile, this indicates the nature of the missile. Okay, actually missiles, there are two different types of missiles. There are two different types of missiles. Okay, one type of missile is cruise missile. The other one is about the, you can call it as this Agni and all these things. These are known as ballistic missile. Ballistic missile. The main difference is these ballistic missiles, the range is so high and they can go out of the Earth atmosphere and they have the re-entry into the Earth atmosphere. That is the reason they carry separate oxygen container along with them. Whereas the cruise missile, they operate within the air environment. So that is the reason they don't require any separate oxygen equipment. And here cruise missile mainly operates on the fire and forget mechanism. That means even though the target is changing its position, its cruise missile also they able to adapt to that and they can able to change their path as well. Ballistic missile generally they don't have the fire and forget mechanism. So these are the main differences between the cruise and ballistic missile. Okay, now this BrahMos belongs to cruise missile. BrahMos belongs to cruise missile. Okay, now let's see. And as a part of this deal is about the $375 million deal between the India as well as the Philippines. This deal was signed in 2022. Okay, so this deal is very important to Philippines because recently Philippines is having some issues. They are having some tensions with China in the South China Sea. Okay, in South China Sea they are having some tensions with China regarding which islands. Okay, regarding which islands. Comment your answer. Now these are the key defense exports from India in terms of ships, aircraft, sensors. They composed the highest percentage of India's defense exports, and remaining artillery, missiles and engines, they play very minuscule part. Now let's see India's defense export details. And here you have to remember one more thing. Generally defense in India, okay, any major purchases in defense in India, they are under the control of Defense Acquisition Council, DAC, Defense Acquisition Council. Okay, tell me students, this Defense Acquisition Council is chaired by whom? This Defense Acquisition Council mainly deals with the capital expenditure of defense. Capital expenditure of defense. Any capital expenditure related to defense, that deal by this DAC, that we have to understand here. And one more thing, India is recently, in the recent past, India trying to go self-reliance in its defense point of view by reducing its dependence on other countries. Next, India has set a defense export target of around 50,000 crores by 2029. So that is a target for that particular year. And defense exports touched around 21,000 crore in financial year 23-24. It's a growth of around 32.5% over the last fiscal year. So this is, we can consider as a very significant growth. The private sector in defense as well as the public sector, their share is around 60% to 40% respectively. That means in defense export, major contributor is the private sector, then it is the public sector. The country is currently exporting the military hardware to around 85 countries with around 100 local firms involved. Next, according to the CIPRI, CIPRI stands for Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Between 2000 to 2023, Myanmar remained the largest importer of Indian weapons, which stands for around 31% of the India's defense exports. Next, Sri Lanka stood with 19%. Countries such as Mauritius, Nepal, Armenia, Vietnam, Maldives, there were other major importers. India's defense production, it grew substantially from around 74,000 crores in 2016-27 to around 1,08,000 crores in 22-23. So this is the significant increase in terms of India's defense production. Out of this entire defense production, around 22% of the production, it was done by the private companies. So we can say that private companies' contributions is significantly increasing in India's defense production compared to public. Next, government initiatives. Simplification of export procedure. This is regarding the making the export procedure in a simplified manner. Okay, whoever private companies are involved in the defense area, their procedure we are making sure, that means like a single window system and helping to them in various other manners. The government has introduced the India's Defense Mart. It is an online portal for defense exports which enables the companies to apply for export license and can track their application online. That means here it is clearly knowing that the bureaucratic role, their interference is very minimal. Scheme for promotion of defense exports, SPDE. Provision of financial support for attending international defense exhibitions and marketing, publicity of India's defense product abroad. So these are mainly towards public sector companies in India which are involving in defense sector. Technology Upgradation Fund Scheme. This is to encourage the modernization of the Indian defense industry. So as a part of that, the scheme provides financial assistance for technological upgradation and modernization of manufacturing facilities so that we can improve our defense capabilities, and our improving defense capabilities is the need of the hour to India mainly because we are having tensions with China in the regions of western as well as the eastern sector. Recently, Arunachal Pradesh is one of the flashpoint between India and China. China renamed certain places in Arunachal Pradesh. We have seen that. Next, strategic partnership model to boost domestic production of defense equipment through partnership with various companies. One of the best testimony for this is BrahMos, where we tie up with the foreign companies such as companies in Russia. Then BrahMos Missile. So we try to understand about some technical details regarding the BrahMos Missile. It is a joint venture between the India's Defense Research Development Organization and Russia's NPO Machinostrionia. So this is the one of the PSU. This missile got its names from India's Brahmaputra and Russia's Moskova River. You know that Russia is traditionally dependable defense partner to India. It played very important role in making this 1966 India-Pakistan agreement, that is Tashkent agreement. Till the USSR disintegration, Russia was one of the major defense partner to India. The BrahMos joint venture, it was formed in 1998 and this was the first successful launch of the missile which took place in 2001. The specialty of the BrahMos missile is the BrahMos missile, it can be launched from any surface. Okay, there is a reason we can say that we finished the triad of the BrahMos missile. BrahMos missile can be launched from the land, seawater, air, and even it can be launched from the submarine as well. The missile striking range 290 kilometers. It travels with a speed of Mach 2.8, that means 2.8 times higher than the sound. It weighs around 2.5 tons. And so we'll see further details. This BrahMos missile, it works in two-stage missile. First stage, it brings the missile into supersonic speed, and the second stage, it takes the missile closer to the 3 times the speed of the sound in cruise phase. So its launching phase is different from the cruise phase. In cruise phase, it can catch up 3 times to the speed of the sound. The range. Originally the BrahMos range is 290 kilometers only, but later we were able to extend the BrahMos range up to 600 kilometers. How that was possible? By joining with the MTCR. MTCR stands for Missile Technology Control Regime. By joining in that, we were able to extend the BrahMos missile range. Actually, there are different types of defense and arms related groupings, okay, such as Missile Technology Control Regime and Australian Group, Wassenaar Agreement and NSG, Nuclear Suppliers Group. Out of these 4, India is part of which of the nuclear agreement? Which of the defense group? India is a member, okay, I mean not a member, sorry. Out of these 4, in which of the group India is not a member, not related to, so which of that group? Significant. The way forward. The significant expansion of this BrahMos can be attributed to the policy reforms and ease of doing business initiatives introduced by Government of India, along with comprehensive digital solutions offered to Indian industries. So we are encouraging Indian industries, so we are allowing the Indian defense exports to grow. This increase is underscoring the international recognition and acceptance of Indian defense products and technologies in abroad. That means we are encouraging our Indian defense product in such a manner that even foreign companies also, they are believing in our technology and they started importing from India. Yesterday's MCQ question with reference to freedom of religion in India. Of course, this article 25 which deals with the freedom of religion, it is available to both Indians as well as the foreigners. So statement 1 is right. Second, the freedom of religion can be restricted on the grounds of public order, morality and health. On these grounds, restrictions can be imposed. So answer is C. Both the statements are right. Now let's see today's video question. Consider the following statement about the BrahMos missile. Statement number 1. It has been developed through joint collaboration between India and Russia. Second one, it is one of the fastest supersonic cruise missile in the world with maximum speed of Mach. Pick the right statement. Mains question. Raising India's annual defense export from $1.5 billion to $5 billion by 24-25 requires addressing the limitations faced by defense sector. Discuss. That means what kind of limitations our defense sector is facing. As we reach to the end of this video, we will revise. In this video, we mainly discuss that India is supplied the BrahMos to Philippines as a part of the previous deal. Then here we discussed about India's defense sector, how is it performing, the amount of exports, to which countries we are majorly exporting. Then we discussed about various phases of BrahMos missile. After that, various government initiatives taken to improve India's defense exports also we covered here. And then various forms of the BrahMos missile, technical details of the BrahMos missiles also we comprehensively covered. So this is the detailed analysis regarding the India's exporting of BrahMos technology to Philippines. I hope this video is useful in your preparation. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day. Jai Hind.